She stood at the base of a mountain she had no business climbing. 6 kids waiting at home, a full life, a full heart, and a quiet question echoing in her chest. What if the only thing I've ever been missing is the belief that I'm already enough? And then, step by step, she proved to herself and to the world that the extraordinary begins the moment you decide to rise.
This is Doyle. You're listening to Spirit Talk Show, Bedtime Stories for Grown-Ups. Today, I have the honor of welcoming a woman whose life reminds us that the most transformative journeys often begins in the most unassuming places. Simone Knego is an international speaker, award-winning author, 2-time TEDx presenter, co-host of her Unshakable Confidence podcast, and best-selling voice behind the Extraordinary Unordinary You. Her story spans continents and climbs from summiting Mount Kilimanjaro to navigating international adoption to raising a beautiful multicultural family of 6 kids and 3 dogs, to helping women around the world rewrite their narratives they've carried for far too long. Simone's work has been featured on ABC, NBC, and CBS, and in Entrepreneur magazine, Yahoo News, and countless stages where her message rings clear. The small choices we make, the ones we barely notice, are often the ones that shape who we become. She's a CPA, a storyteller, a community builder, a creator of the real method, and a woman who carries both grit and grace into every chapter of her life. You can learn about her books and her work and her speaking at SimoneKnego.com. That's SimoneKnego.com. And follow her on Facebook and Instagram at author Simone Knego. Do it again. Okay, you guys, are you ready? Okay. Hi, Simone. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Wow, thank you so much for coming on. You must be, I'm reading about your history here. You must be exhausted, like Kilimanjaro, 6 kids. You've work, you do well. You're traveling and talking all over the place. Like, does your family ever see you? Or are you finished with all that now?
No, they see me. But, I'm down to 1 kid at home, so I'm almost an empty nester. She's a senior. She probably doesn't care to see me that much. That's how it works.
Yeah. Well, I have 2 sons. My 19-year-old left this September, and I have a 14-year-old at home. So, yeah. And he's in his room. He doesn't care to talk to me, so that's true. So I am here with... with Howie is here to my left, and Russ is here to my right. Hi.
Or vice versa.
Hi, everyone.
Wait, did I say right? You're right. I meant her right. I'm honoring.
Stage left,
I'm
stage
honoring
right.
the guest, right? It's all about her, right? On your right.
Okay, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I know. Yeah, because I can't admit that I just made a mistake. I got to make up some crap, right? But thank you so much. Let's talk about. So you stood at the base of Kilimanjaro, and you said, and you were like I'm enough. I can do this. Like, can you take us back to the exact feeling of that moment and what shifted inside you to make you, I'm doing this now? Because it's a scary thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that I didn't plan on doing, right? I was asked to do it. Well, my husband was asked to do it, and my husband said, well, basically 1, 2, 3, no, thank you, call Simone. And so his friend had climbed it the year before, and so that's the one who called. And so he called me, and I said yes. And completely out of my comfort zone. I am not a climber. I live in Florida. I have 16 steps in my house, so never done anything like that before. But I'm someone that had really struggled with self-doubt for the majority of my life. And so that was a moment where I thought, okay, this will change everything. And it really did. Like, I needed to get out of my comfort zone. And so, I looked at it and thought, really, this is what I needed to get out of my comfort zone? Well, I mean, I could have just, run down the street. That might have been enough.
I was going to say,
but no, I decided to.
Yeah, you go big or go home, because you could have went on a nice hike. You summited Kilimanjaro. That was the first thing you did, right? From the 7 steps in your house. Wow.
16.
Yeah.
16.
Yeah. 16,
16
like, you know,
says.
yeah. So,
Wow.
but yeah, no, I mean, again, when you do something and you have to get out of your comfort zone to build confidence from the inside out. I mean, that's what you do. That's what I learned.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I understand and I'm accepting. I 100% believe you, and I agree with you, and I do it myself. But I'm saying being in your house to Kilimanjaro seems like a really big step out of your comfort zone in one day. But anyway, so
Well, I'm intrigued by the whole. Why is it that the response was call Simone? I mean, there has to have been some things going on before this.
Let's investigate that a little more.
For your husband to say, "What? Climb Kilimanjaro? Heck no!" But talk to Simone. You know?
I want Simone to be gone for a few weeks climbing a mountain.
No, I think it's more knowing that you might be crazy enough to do something like that.
Yeah. Well,
he wanted me out of the house. That's for sure. First of all, he's 6'5". He's like, I am not sleeping in that tiny little tent. You know.
Oh my gosh.
He also has sleep apnea. He's like, I probably won't wake up if I do that. So you do it. And honestly, I really needed to do something different. Like I had lost myself for a long time, right? I mean, I was being everything to everybody else except for myself. And so it was really that moment of, okay, you need to focus a little bit more on yourself. So he got that. He understood that. We've been married for 32 years. I've trained him really well.
So was there a moment that broke inside you and you said, okay, when you realized this, like I'm not being like for me, I'm being for everybody else. Was there a particular moment you said, okay, this is where this needs to change today?
Yeah, I mean, I was at this women's event and I was sitting with a group of very close friends, and I realized we were watching this video. It was this Colby Calais video called Try. It like shows women like peeling back the layers, taking off the makeup, really showing who they are. And my friends at the table had never seen me cry before. I mean, I had known them for years, but I had this facade up for so long, pretending I was like super strong and had it all together. I mean, I had 6 kids. I didn't have it all together, right?
Yeah.
Like it's getting by on a day-to-day basis. And so that was the moment where, I cried in that moment, and my friends were like, oh my God, what do we do with her? Like, she's not supposed to cry. Like, she's the strong one. And that was the moment of saying, like, this is not who I am. I've been pretending for so long, and I need to be different. Like, I need to show who I truly am. And that was that moment of saying, okay, I need to change things up in my life.
Cool. So your message centers around on reframing the way we see ourselves. Can you share a time when you personally struggled with your own reflection and what helped you like rewrite your like inner narrative?
Yeah, I mean, I actually have a podcast with my 22-year-old daughter.
Okay.
When she was 15 years old, I was in the bathroom getting ready for an event and criticizing myself to no end. Oh, can't believe you gained weight again. Like, why are you even going to this thing? Nobody's going to want to hang out with you. And she walked in and she said, Mom, first of all, you're beautiful. Second of all, you have to stop. You're giving me a complex. How can you expect me to love my body when you don't even like your own? And so that was like such a huge moment of, okay, yeah, I am being so disrespectful to myself. I don't believe in myself. I don't think, anything about myself. And so that moment really kind of brought me back to think like, oh my gosh, what am I doing to the people around me as well? And not just to myself. I mean, I think so often doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, you go through your life and you treat yourself so differently than you would treat your best friend, right? The things that we say to ourselves or about ourselves, we would never say that to our best friend, right? We respect them too much, but we do that to ourselves.
So in that moment, were you verbalizing to yourself in the mirror, or was your daughter just intuitive enough that she could tell those were the thoughts that were going through your head?
Oh, no, I was verbalizing. I was saying all kinds of horrible things to myself. And, that's when she was like, okay, what is happening? Like, and again, like for our kids, like we model, right? So if we're being mean to ourselves, guess what our kids are going to think? They should be mean to themselves. They should talk horribly about themselves. So I really needed a big change there.
So like she was here when I think what you're asking, I don't know if I was clear, is like were you actually saying out loud, oh, I'm so fat. Oh my gosh, I'm so ugly. You were saying these things out loud and she was hearing you say
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. I mean, I was saying, I cannot believe you gained weight again. You know, all of the things that you would never say to someone that you actually loved. And I truly believe, like, we are going to be with ourselves forever. Like, we need to be our own best friend. We need to love the person that we're looking at in the mirror.
Yeah, I think I mean, I know we all do these words and these things that we'd never say to our friends. Well, I might say to him. No, I'm joking.
We program our brains by the things we put in them. So
yeah. So
I mean, our thoughts become our reality, right?
That's great. So let's talk about your work. Like, what is you're doing? So let's talk a little bit about your work. What are you doing now? What are you trying? Like, how can people receive what you're doing?
Yeah. So I'm a coach. I do keynote speaking, and I have a new book coming out in February called Real Confidence, a simple guide to go from unsure to unshakable, which is all about, and it's specifically written for women, but trust me, men need to read it too, right? Yeah. I mean, to see what we go through. And, it really is about, so I have what I created called the Real Method, which is respect yourself, embrace your failures, ask yourself what you want, and live without limits. And it's really to help you go through that transformation, to help other women get there, men and women, get there quicker than I did. Because, there's definitely steps you can take. When I talk about confidence, it's a skill that you build. It's not something that other people have and that you don't. It's something that you work on every single day.
So for listeners who struggle with self-doubt and stuff like that, is there one part of the Real Method that they can begin with today to shift the way that they, like how we experience ourselves?
Yeah. So I think, the first part, the respect yourself, I think is so important. And oftentimes the way we treat ourselves, the way we talk to ourselves, the voice that we have inside our head, I call it the what if whisperer, like what if we fail? What if they judge you? Whatever it is. And I have created I have a little mindset hack that really helps. Control, Alt, Delete. Yes, very creative. Back in the day, it was how we would reset a frozen computer.
Yeah.
Right. And now it brings up Task Manager. I don't know what Task Manager does, but it brings up Task Manager. So now, I use it as a way to reset my mind, because sometimes our minds freeze too, right? We spiral in self-doubt. We get caught in the comparison game. So control is about awareness. We're all going to have those thoughts that come into our heads. Whether you're a man or a woman, you have those thoughts that come into your head that, you start questioning, like, am I enough? Am I doing things right? So it's really thinking about, okay, you have these thoughts. Are they helping me? Are they hurting me? What are they doing? The next step is Alt, which is alternative. Tell yourself a better story. Instead of telling yourself that you can't do something, yes, you can. Why can't you? Everybody else can and you can't. Like, it's ridiculous when you really start thinking about it. Instead of telling yourself that, or questioning, what if I fail? How about when I succeed? And then finally, delete the habits and beliefs that don't serve you. Delete the comparison game. Delete the belief that you're not enough. Delete the apology. How many times do we apologize for something that, like, we don't need to apologize for? So tomorrow, anytime that voice comes in your head, say, okay, Control, Alt, Delete it, because it's not real. It's the negative story that we tell ourselves.
Yeah. So it seems like we hear these things and these self-help confidence things, and there's this wonderful end product at the end. When you get there, this is how you're going to be. So like you say, change the way you see yourself in the world will change around you. But what does the transformation really look like? Not the polished end, but what's the messy middle look like?
Yeah, the messy middle is, really being willing to try things that you weren't willing to try before, right? Being willing to take risks, being willing to fail. I mean, I think that's such an important piece of building confidence, is understanding that failure is part of success, that it isn't something that should stop you. And so often, we think about just the end of things, but when you're building confidence, it's everything in between. It's the constant work. And we so often look at other people and say, oh, they're so confident and I'm just not. Well, that's not how it works. Like, you work on it every single day.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think what people say is fake it till you make it, but sometimes you fake the confidence until you're like feeling the confidence too. So, this is a storytelling podcast, and we researched you and searched you online and looked you up, and we wrote a tribute story for you. We actually wrote a tribute poem first, so we don't have to read them all if you don't want to endure them both. But we have the story now. The options you have here is: do you want to read them yourself out loud, or would you like to hear like one of these attractive men? Well, one of them is attractive. Read the story like to you.
I would love to hear someone else read me. I haven't had someone read me a story in a long time. This is like almost bedtime, so this is amazing.
And it's about you. So are you going to read, Russ?
Okay.
I can't wait to hear it. Or do you want me to do it?
You should read.
Okay. I think Russ is going to read. This is Russ Parker. Okay, go.
The Woman Who Chose the Mountain. There's a story told quietly in the corners of ordinary life, a story that rarely makes headlines or breaks into the noise of the world. It begins not with triumph, but with a question, a soft, trembling one that many of us carry for years. Am I enough? Simone didn't ask that question on a stage or in front of an audience. She asked it at the base of a mountain she had no obligation to climb, a mountain that mirrored the invisible one she'd been carrying inside for far too long. The world knew her as the mother of 6, the woman juggling appointments and backpacks and missed socks and late-night homework. The woman with a multicultural family stitched together by love that moves across borders and past expectations. The woman who built a household where differences wasn't something to overcome, but something to celebrate. But on that morning, staring up at the stony face of Kilimanjaro, she wasn't looking at a metaphor. She was looking at a wall of earth carved by centuries of wind and time, a wall that seemed to whisper, "Everything you're afraid of, bring it with you." And she did. She carried her doubts, her weariness, the stories she'd inherited about what women should be, how mothers should sacrifice, how ambition should quiet itself once children arrive. She carried the years of looking in the mirror and seeing not the woman she truly was, but the woman she feared she wasn't. And then she took a single step. The mountain didn't care if she was a CPA or an author or a speaker with 2 TEDx talks. It didn't care how many book awards she'd won or whether she'd been featured on ABC or NBC or CBS. It didn't care how many lives her words had touched. It only cared about the truth she brought to each step. Up there, every breath was earned. Every moment was a negotiation between fatigue and faith. But somewhere between the thin air and the sunrise, she realized something she had been teaching the world for years. The extraordinary isn't something you reach. It's something you uncover. Not at the summit, but within yourself. And when she finally stood at the top, the world stretched out beneath her like an unwritten chapter. She saw the horizon not as a destination, but as an invitation. A reminder that the woman she had always been, the one who loves fiercely, leads quietly, rises bravely, was enough all along. Simone returned home from that mountain with something far more powerful than a story. She returned with a message. The unordinary moments, the ones hidden inside breakfast dishes, car rides, adoption paperwork, heartbreaking questions from a child about the world, and the endless balancing act of work and life, are the moments that shape us. And then when a woman finally sees herself clearly, the whole world shifts around her. Tonight we honor not the accolades, not the achievements, not the impressive list of roles she's filled. We honor the courage it takes to meet yourself, truly meet yourself, and say, "This is who I am. And she is enough." Simone, your life is a lighthouse for women everywhere who are still learning to love the woman in their own mirror. And for that, we thank you.
What do you think of that?
That was amazing. Can you please send it to me?
Yeah, I'll share the
Wow.
talk. I'll share the talk with you. It has the questions and everything on it. Yeah, that's a powerful story, and I think it captures you. It captures your work, and thank you for the work you're doing. I think it's so powerful and important. And I think of my mother who felt she always had to, what she wanted and she was a smart, powerful woman, but it was always about us. I'm one of 6 kids too, in my house. Wow. Growing up, I'm the youngest son, and she had 4 boys 4 years in a row. I think she was insane, to be honest, but she had 4 boys one year after another, and then I was the youngest of those. So let me ask you, I want to talk a little bit, because I'm sure people will be fascinated about the navigating international adoption. So what country did you adopt your kids from?
Yeah, so we have 2 children, a boy and a girl from Ethiopia, and a son from South Korea. And we actually adopted from South Korea first. Noah was a baby. He was 4 months old. He's now 19 years old. He's off at college. Actually, he comes home in 2 days for a winter break.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was a really interesting experience. We had already had 3 biological children, and the process was not easy, but it was amazing. I mean, Noah, after we adopted him, Noah turned our world upside down. Like, it was chaos. So Noah's on the autism spectrum. We did not know that when he was a baby. He cried about everything. He cried 16 out of the 18 hours on our flight home from Seoul to Chicago. It was brutal. Yeah. But now, he is an amazing human, and we decided we wanted to adopt again. So we looked at our options, and we decided on Ethiopia because the kids are amazing, and most of them have gone through something really difficult in their lives. So Ari was 4.5 years old when we adopted him, and then we decided when we were at the orphanage, we knew we were going to go back one more time. And Millie was 2.5 years old when we adopted her.
Wow. Those kids got such a gift. And imagine navigating Ethiopian adoption law was really challenging. Or was there any law? Did they just let foreigners come and take? What was the process like?
Yeah, no, you work through an adoption agency, and they place a child with you. So you don't go there and say, oh, this kid looks really cute, let me adopt you. Yeah. No, it is very specific and the paperwork, piles and piles of paperwork that we had to complete. And, they do home studies to make sure that the kids are coming into a safe place and that they're going to be loved and cared for. So it was a lot. It was a lot. But every part of it was absolutely worth it because they're amazing humans.
That's great. My own son is 19 too, and did have some struggles with them. And sorry, Aiden. Yeah, we did. It's true. And he, so I'm in that realm of life too. And your kids are all grown and out of the house, you said? There's just one in the house right now.
So there's one so she's a senior. We could potentially be empty nesters next year. Wow. And then we have 2 in college, 1 in graduate school, 1 in law school, and 1 is a fully fledged human and is completely off the payroll. So 1 for 6. We're good to go. Wow.
I can't imagine. I sent money today to my 19-year-old who truly believes he's totally independent. But, that's still paying your...
Yeah, it's amazing how that works, right?
Yeah. I'm still sending you money for groceries. I'm paying your car insurance, your medical insurance, and I'm also paid for the locksmith you needed last week because you locked your key out of your car. So it's amazing how you're totally looking after yourself, right?
Yeah, and you don't need us, but you need our money.
Yeah. My 14-year-old at home, he's almost 14. He needs me. He's very sweet for a 14-year-old. He still wants to come and hug Dad, which is nice.
So that's amazing.
Yeah, it's something that I wanted to foster with them, just this idea that a man is supposed to be one way. I always wanted to be a different kind of man, right? So, so what we did too is, I didn't know, I spoke to you about, I don't know if we had agreed to this because I know our internet, you were supposed to come a different week and schedule for this week, but I'd sent a message about you possibly reading something from your work, or did you have time to get something together?
Yeah, so I have a couple of things. So one is from my first book, one is from my second book. You tell me which direction you want me to go.
Well, I kind of want them both. So I want it all, says Simone.
Okay. So, the one from my first book is, I'll give a little bit of background. So, I had been traveling internationally. My husband was home. Our youngest son, Noah, was away at summer camp. And he got bitten by a poisonous snake at summer camp. And I'm out of the country. I can't get back. My husband's flying to Atlanta to meet him at the hospital. He's in the ICU. 16 vials of antivenom. He was fine.
Wow.
It was bad. It was bad. But he was fine. So he's in the ICU for 3 days. And then he and my husband flew back. I met them at home. And so after that experience, his arm was kind of frozen in place because of having the swelling for so long. There's a whole backstory, but we're not going to go into that. So this is a story about when I'm taking him to physical therapy. Okay. So we got into our minivan, aka the moving trash can, to go to the therapist. It was our first time in that car for at least a 2-week period. Buckle up, I said to Noah. Oh, it's kind of hard because I only have one arm, he said. I know, just buckle, I said back to him. I could see from the rearview mirror that he was trying his best to buckle his seatbelt. Are you buckled? I asked, turning my head back to see if for sure he was buckled. Buckled, he said. But while my head was turned, my attention wasn't so much on his answer as it was on the popcorn that was spread all over the seats and the floor. Noah, why is there popcorn all over the seat? I asked. I don't know, he shrugged. I swear I cleaned the car before we left, I said. I started to back the car out of the garage, but I couldn't get the image of the popcorn out of my mind. Something just didn't seem right about it. I kept looking at the popcorn while still trying to focus on backing out the car. Halfway out of the garage and into the driveway, it hit me hard. That's not popcorn. Noah, get out of the car, I yelled. What? He asked. I'm sure he was both surprised and scared because of the urgency in my voice. Get out of the car now, I yelled even louder. As we got out of the car, I looked closer at the popcorn that was covering nearly every inch of our car. Only it wasn't popcorn. It was the inside fluff of the seats. Almost every seat had chunks out of it, and rat poop was everywhere. I don't know if it was one rat, 2 rats, or a family of them, but somehow rats had gotten into our car, probably through the engine block, and had a feast. I'm sure they were in heaven because with 6 kids, there were probably crackers shoved in every nook and cranny of that minivan, and those rats made sure they found every last crumb. They chewed on nearly every seat in the car, and what they left in their food raid was absolutely disgusting. The first thing I did was call my pest control guy. He set some traps in the van and suggested that I call my insurance company, because I didn't really think about that. At this point, I hadn't seen the need to involve the insurance company, as I was still thinking that everything would be fine. We would just get it cleaned and it would all be well. A day went by and the rat traps remained empty, so I called my insurance company. Imagine that conversation. Could you please tell me if our car insurance covers rats? I'm pretty sure they did not take me seriously when I explained the damage. But they were nice about it. Well, okay, he said. We'll have it looked at. Why don't you drive it over to the insurance adjuster? Yeah, right. I'm not driving it, I said. Again, it was probably hard for them to understand the state of the minivan until they witnessed it for themselves. But it wasn't just the mess that bothered me. It was the fact that there could still be a rat in there. Well, why not, he said. It's still drivable, right? There's nothing wrong with the engine. Yeah, I said, and there's a rat or 7 in there. What if it jumps on my head while I'm driving to the repair place? I'm not doing that because then I'll have a complete freak out that will lead to an accident, and then it will be even more expensive for you guys. Not to mention I will be traumatized for life. I guess you're right, he said. I'll have someone come tow it. After they towed the minivan to the shop, I got a phone call from the appraiser. I have to tell you, he said, I've done this for over 20 years, and I've never seen anything like this before. I actually don't even know where to begin. I'll get back to you in a couple of days because I've got to look all of the costs up. All I could do was laugh at his response and wait for his call. A few days later, his call came. I hate to tell you this, he said, but it will cost so much to fix your minivan that I have to total it. He laughed and said, never in my life did I ever think that I would say I totaled a car because a rat ate the seats. But I'm totaling your car because the rat ate the seats.
Wow.
That's pretty gross, right?
That's gross. It makes. I've had rats in my house recently, and there's something about it. Thinking that, and they're gone now. I got rid of them all, but that a rat was in your kitchen. That's like, oh my gosh! It's like I can't imagine them, you know. And my dog brought me a present one day, right in the middle of the living room, dead rat. So, and it's like, oh yeah, it's like, oh my gosh.
So where we are, because we have so much alfalfa for the goats, we have rabbits just everywhere. Mm. And they love climbing up on the engine block.
Rabbits do.
Yeah. And, so I have to check every time because the last thing I want is to be leaving and have there be, because sometimes they'll open it up and there'll be a rabbit that I'll just shoo off.
Oh my gosh.
So the last thing I want to do is be driving off and have a rabbit fall off into the fan belt or something. I mean, it's like, what a nightmare
so
that
you have to open your car before you go saying, wascally wabbit, and he's gone. Wow. I think if you will indulge us, I would like, your piece was really fun. I was so engaged with it, and it made me think of my rat issue. But Howie wants to read the tribute poem we wrote for you. And then, if you're willing, we'd like you to read your other piece.
Yeah, absolutely. This is so fun.
So here is your tribute poem. And I will share this document with you when we're done.
Unordinary
Thank
light.
you.
She did not rise in thunder, nor announce herself in flame. She rose the way morning does, quietly, softly, without asking permission to warm the world. She carried 6 hearts inside her own, and the weight of questions no mirror could answer. Still, she stepped towards the truth she had long been avoiding. On the mountain, the wind called her by her real name. Not mother, not leader, not speaker, not extraordinary either, just Simone. A woman who breathes, who chooses, who climbs, who loves. A woman learning to trust that the unordinary brilliance in her was always there, waiting for her yes. And when she stood above the clouds, the sky did not cheer. It simply opened as if to say, welcome back. Now she walks with a quiet fire, the kind that doesn't burn, but heals. The kind that reminds every woman who hears her voice that she, too, is already enough. Unordinary, extraordinary, beautifully, defiantly, herself.
I love that too.
I think
that's awesome.
It does speak to you. It seems to speak to who you come across as. So, of course, I don't know you well enough to say it speaks to you who you really are, but it seems to be the person that, we see of you in the world, in what you present to the world. So, wow, that was cool. I'm a little verklempt. It was really nice. A poem here.
Yes, it was beautiful.
Yeah, I will share. I'll send it along as soon as this show ends. So, you said you had another piece you wanted to read.
Yeah. So,
and is
this
is this from the book that's releasing in February, or is this one that's already published?
This is from the book that's releasing in February. This is, it's called Real Confidence: A Simple Guide to Go from Unsure to Unshakable.
Yeah.
And so this is a story about my Kilimanjaro climb. And there's a little funny piece in there. So hopefully you'll enjoy the funny piece.
Good.
Okay. There I stood 8,000 miles from home at the base of Mount Kilimanjaro, deep in the Tanzanian rainforest. The summit stretched 19,341 feet into the sky, the tallest freestanding mountain in the world. To put that in perspective, that's taller than 14 Empire State Buildings stacked on top of each other. It didn't just look big, it looked impossible. And as I tilted my head back to take it all in, a mix of awe and panic washed over me. I wasn't climbing alone. There were 16 of us, teammates who had been complete strangers just a week earlier. I had trained for 6 months to make this climb. I had said yes. I had prepared. I had packed. Still, no amount of training prepares you for the moment you're actually there, standing at the base of something that suddenly feels much bigger than you imagined. What was I thinking when I agreed to this? Me, the self-proclaimed couch athlete who literally needs to book a session with a personal trainer just to make it to the gym. Me, the mother of 6 who had never climbed anything taller than a Florida overpass. And yet somehow I signed up thinking, yeah, sure, let's do that. Oh, and did I mention the bathroom situation? Because here's what no one tells you when you decide to climb a giant mountain. Nature doesn't come with plumbing. Duh. And squatting behind a rock in sub-zero temperatures is not ideal. So, I brought a shiwi. Yes, it's exactly what it sounds like. A pee funnel that lets you stand and go without freezing your butt off. Weird? Absolutely. Messy? Shockingly, no. And I have to admit, peeing standing up and writing my name in the snow felt pretty badass. Honestly, it was one of the most... Thank you. Honestly, it was one of the most unexpectedly empowering moments of the trip. If I could pee through a funnel in freezing temps without splashing my boots, I could pretty much conquer the world. Who knew a pee funnel could make you feel so powerful? Still, even with my newly discovered snow riding skills, the doubt crept in. I had trained. I had packed. I had said yes, but standing there staring up the summit, I continued to question everything. What was I thinking? I mean, I call walking the dog cardio. And here I was standing at the base of a mountain that looked like it should come with a warning label. But I had made a promise to myself and to others. I was climbing to raise money for the Livestrong Foundation, and I wasn't about to let fear or frostbite win. So I focused on my why. I tightened my laces, grabbed my walking sticks, and took the first step, and then the next, and then the next. On the 5th day of our climb, we began the final ascent at 11 p.m. and hiked through the darkness of night. I was mentally and physically exhausted, but adrenaline kept me moving. The voice of doubt, aka the what-if whisperer, had followed me from the start. At 5,000 feet, I kept going. At 10,000 feet, I kept going. At 15,000 feet, I kept going. But as we began the final stretch in the freezing darkness, the what-if whisperer came roaring back. But she wasn't a whisper anymore. She was loud, relentless. Who do you think you are? You're too old for this. You're not fit enough. Not strong enough. Not mentally tough enough. Why did you ever think you could do this? With one negative thought chasing the next, I kept going. Slowly, deliberately, methodically. My headlight lit a narrow circle in front of me as we climbed in silence, switchback after switchback, winding higher into the night. Every step was intentional. Every breath felt like a battle. The voice inside my head kept circling back. Can I do this? Can I finish what I started? You're 42 years old. You're not a climber. You have 6 kids at home. What are you thinking? But I didn't stop. I kept putting one foot in front of the other. I was out of breath, my body hurt to the core, and my knee had swollen into a balloon. Just as the sun began to rise, casting light across the snow and peaks around us, I pushed through one more switchback. I looked up at the horizon. And the horizon seemed to go on forever. I was standing at the top of Mount Kilimanjaro. The sky was an unbelievable shade of blue. The ground was covered in bright white snow mixed with the dirt from the boots that had walked this path before me. And then, on a weathered brown wooden sign that had clearly seen better days, were the words I had been longing to see, the ones the relentless voice in my head swore I never would. Congratulations, you are now at Uhuru Peak, Tanzania, Africa's highest point.
Wow. It's inspiring that it's like you're a member of a very small group of people who stood there, I'm sure, who stood there with the right to stand there. I mean, to have, like having walked up all the way. Wow. I don't know if I could do it. So you did this when you were 42? So last year? Well, is this, how
you're funny. I'm 53.
Oh,
so I did this in 2015.
We're the exact same age. I'm 53 too. So we're in the same, yeah.
Just a wee babe.
Wee babe. Well,
yeah,
you're
just
not
a wee babe.
Yeah.
That's what I keep telling myself.
I mean, you look great. You're like you're killing it.
Thank you.
You know, I mean, I would have placed you in your low 40s, and when you said she did this at 42, wow. That's great.
Okay, I'm loving this even more. So for the poem, the story, and now I got compliments. Like I am all in here.
Well, and the thing I think that we've truly learned here is what we tell kids when they say, "Why should we learn cursive?"
Yeah,
because if you find yourself on the side of Mount Kilimanjaro and you need to, write your name, in the snow,
yeah.
How are you going to do that if all you know is printing?
So I don't know about this.
You're so right.
Oh, the cursive, being able to write cursive. For a second, I thought, how does he know the sign at the top of Kilimanjaro is written in cursive?
Oh, you don't think I've been there?
And I don't think you've been there.
You don't want to have to stop and start. You don't want to have to stop and start.
So
that would probably be messy.
This funnel thing, is it like something that's like, is it really long? Is it like as long as a leg, or is it long as a...
It's as long as a leg.
Imagine it like a golf club. It's not like a golf club? Or is it like short? Like
It's about 6 inches. Let's just keep it at that. It's about 6 inches.
Why they pick 6 inches?
Yeah.
Okay, so so if you had to give your large portion of our listening audience is 20 males, 20 to 63% male, the rest female, from 20 to 40. So what's the message that you want to give them today, and what should they do tomorrow?
The message is that you don't need to change who you are. You need to change the way you see yourself, right? I mean, the way we go through our lives, we're so focused on, you need to change this, you need to change that. And I don't believe that at all. I think we need to, look inside ourselves and say, wow, we're doing amazing things as we are. Stop worrying about what anybody else is thinking. Change the way you see yourself.
Great. So people, and because I'm such a math and science guy, and we're the two computer guys here. So what do I do tomorrow? What's the first step?
Tomorrow, the first step is change the way you talk to yourself. So
Okay.
when you wake up in the morning, say something kind to yourself, right? I mean, we're always so hard on ourselves. Think about it when you do that. Like, would you talk to your best friend like that? No.
Yeah.
So don't talk to yourself like that. And I know it's not only women that do it. I know men do it too. Like, stop judging yourself, right? You're doing amazing things in the world. Think about it in a different way.
Okay, and you have your book is coming out. Let's talk a little bit about your book in February, and give me the title one more time. It's Living in Confidence.
It's called Real Confidence, a simple guide to go from unsure to unshakable. So it's all about my real method. Respect yourself, embrace your failures, ask yourself what you want, and live without limits. And, it's not just my stories, it's other people's stories about how they overcame certain things in their lives to build the confidence that they really needed to move forward.
Okay, and is there another book in the works you're thinking about? Like, as you look towards your next book, what truths are you trying to look into and live into?
Yeah, I would say if I were to pick a title today for the next book, it would be called Kitchen Table Leadership. So I truly believe that we've been sold this very narrow view of what leadership is. It's the corner office, it's the title, it's the boardroom. And I believe that leadership happens in the behind the scenes, in the messy moments. And so many of our decisions happen around the kitchen table. And we need to start looking at that differently. Just because nobody ever called it leadership doesn't mean it's not. I mean, think about how many decisions that have completely affected your life that have happened around the kitchen table. Those are leadership decisions, the things that we choose every day.
And it's a place where mom, the woman, and the dad's opinion is equally as important. And it's probably something that's facilitated by moms very frequently, the conversation at the dinner table. And I know I'm equating it to the guest we interviewed before you tonight was a woman who's trying to give women back their power and history and stuff, like the contributions they did. And I'm sure a lot of these conversations, the person invented the light bulb, they had conversations around the kitchen table about it, I'm sure, many times, right? And giving people that power too. Wow, that was cool. Oh, that's cool. So, so where can people get in touch with you? And let's give your website and stuff.
Yeah, so best way to reach me is on my website, SimoneKnego.com, SIMONEKNEGO. You can find my new book at realconfidencebook.com. There's a bunch of pre-order bonuses on there, including a really fun interview with my reverse interview with my 22-year-old daughter. So, and you can find us on our podcast, Her Unshakable Confidence. Mm-hmm. One of the best things I do every week is record an episode with her. It's so much fun. And on social media, you can find me at Simone Knego. I'm the only Simone Knego in the world. So if you search for me, you will find me.
Okay, great. So when you think of your own extraordinary, unordinary story, what are you most proud of?
Oh, my kids. Raising good humans is the most important thing in the world. And so doesn't matter all of the other things I've done. The focus is that if I'm raising good humans, then I've changed the world. And I think everybody else should see it that way too. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I agree with you. I've got two great humans that I raised, and they're just good people. The world is a better place for having them in it. And it seems like your kids are there too. And you said you've got one in law school and one's totally free, and they're all off paying their own bills. And you got someone in law school, and they're all in college, right? Yeah, well, one is still at home, so one's a senior in high school. Yeah, so I know. Potentially next year we could be in, empty nesters. But yeah, one's at University of North Florida, one's at High Point University, one's in Cardiff, Wales, getting a master's in art conservation, and one's at Belmont Law. Wow, that's great. So I look at my house, and it's a house for kids, right? And my house is kind of big. And so are you thinking you've got this house that was for 6 kids, and when this last one goes, are you thinking why do I have this huge place? What's your next adventure? Yeah, I mean, I have this big place for them to come home to. My next adventure is I'm going to be a grandmother. So,
Well,
that's pretty exciting. My oldest son and his wife are pregnant. So, yeah.
wow. I can't believe that grandmothers are in my age group. When did that happen? No, like on the dating sites, I see, hey, I like hanging out with my grandkids, and I'm like, wait, what? People I'm potentially dating have grandkids? How did this happen? Well, thank you.
Well, I got married at 21, and I had kids at 24. So, I was pretty young for that. So
I was really young.
That's why I have.
My now ex-wife did get married when she was 21. I think she just turned 21, so she's really kind of toward 20. So I think that was a little early. We probably should have waited a few years, but.
Oh my gosh. I would, if my kids would have told me like, oh yeah, I'm going to get married at 21, I'd be like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
But for us, it worked out. We've been married 32 years. So
that's great.
But usually it does not happen that way.
And you're located, you said, in Chicago right now? That's where you're sitting right now?
No, I'm actually in Sarasota, Florida.
Okay, I thought you said you flew home to Chicago.
Remember the 16 steps.
Oh.
16 steps.
Yeah,
16 steps in Florida.
Yes.
Okay. That's why.
So, I mean, yes.
Okay, that's why she's wearing a T-shirt at 9 o'clock at night in Florida, right? So,
yes.
and we're in Sacramento, California, wearing our warm fleeces and stuff.
I don't know. It gets cold enough in Florida that sometimes the iguanas fall out of the trees. It's not always warm.
Yes, it is true. It is an issue. You have to be careful that you don't get hit by the falling iguanas.
I've never heard of this.
Part of the things you worry about here.
I never heard of this as being
true.
one of the problems, but wow, this time I get on and we talk to people and an hour goes like that. And I always schedule my people too close to, so we do have another one person coming in a little bit, but thank you so much for coming on. This was really fun. And I know you have a book coming out in February, so I'll talk to you about as soon as I go off the air here, I'll talk to you about when to release it and stuff. But thank you. Let me do my outro and then we'll say goodbye. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thanks so much.
Okay. Yeah, great. Thank you for listening. If you guys would like to get involved, go to spirittalkshow.com and say good night, Howie.
Good night, Simone. Thank you for coming on.
Good night, Simone.
Okay. Good night, Russ. I said good night, Russ.
Goodbye. I guess I'm done, right?
Yeah, you're out. Okay, that's it for you. Hey, good night, Simone. Thanks for spending time with us. Now go make a story worth telling.